Let's bring in Gautam Chhaochharia at UBS Securities. Gautam, good afternoon. Good to have you back on the channel.
Good afternoon.
Prashant this side. You want to come in on BHEL first?
Hey, Prashant.
Your thoughts, and then we'll get back to the market. Yes.
Yeah, numbers were clearly disappointing in terms of both what they booked as well as in terms of the implied order flows. But one must remember, especially in terms of order flows for BHEL, the orders can be very lumpy. It's not really that evened out. So I'd like to wait for management commentary on the reasons behind the delay in order flows before really taking a call. But overall, in terms of reported numbers, they were clearly disappointing.
You know, there were some comparisons being made between after what L&T did and what BHEL might report.
That's a wrong way to look at it,
unfair,
frankly,
yeah.
because L&T's order flows are much more diversified across sectors, while BHEL is completely focused on the power space. And power, as we know, has had serious issues over last 2-3 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess, you know, multiples that people are ready to pay for something which is purely power focused and something which has got a much more diversified revenue stream is going to be very different, right? I mean, I guess that's the point.
Exactly. So that shows up in the stock prices also.
Yeah. What do you think, I mean, with these kind of numbers, the stock does from here? Because it's moved up. It got to sub 200, now 325, 330 odd. What's your sense?
So two ways to look at it. From a near-term perspective, BHEL will, the stock will keep reacting to all these quarterly numbers, and as well as in terms of noise or news flow on SEB restructuring, what the government is doing in terms of power tariffs, etc. So those are the two immediate term drivers. So in that sense, we do expect power scenario in terms of news on SEB restructuring as well as tariff hikes, etc. to be incrementally positive, and that should be supportive of stock. So we don't really see the stock going significantly down below 200, 210 levels, and that would be a good level to invest in the stock. The second part is the long-term story. So in terms of the long-term story, we are fairly positive on BHEL because power sector issues are chronic in India, but to adjust that or repair that takes years. It's not something which you can do overnight or in months. We saw the same thing happening last decade. It's almost from 2001 or 2004, over a 3 to 4 year period, you saw a similar kind of roadmap where first you had SEB's financial restructuring happening for receivables, etc. Then you saw the tariff authorities coming in, tariff hikes happening, and gradually some effort towards improving transmission and distribution. And then finally it manifested itself in terms of orders, in terms of new projects being set up, including private sector. So same thing, something similar can happen, and that's something very critical, not just for BHEL, but for the overall India story. So BHEL again is clearly exposed to that, but it's something very critical for overall India story also, that you do need to see the power scenario being resolved from the medium-term perspective. And as you see over that happening over the next 2-3 period, BHEL could be the best place in terms of benefiting from it. So from a multi-year perspective, it's a good stock to look at, especially given current valuations. But near term, it will be volatile based on these news flow.
Okay, that's a short-term, medium-term, long-term view on BHEL.
Yeah.
But as you said, you know, we'll wait for management commentary. For now, it looks like there has been some order cancellation which has happened in the quarter gone by. I mean, so order book has declined about 25% year on year, and the implied order inflow is 400 odd crores, which is way below what was expected. So looks like there's been, I mean, some cancellations which have happened. And Pankaj highlighted the other 2 points as well, which we'll try and get some clarity on. Geometric second quarter numbers coming through right now. So profit after tax coming in at about 18 crores compared to 13.5 odd crores. So that's geometric. We should put the numbers up. There you go. So, and I think we'd have top line numbers as well coming through in just a bit. Let's have the intraday up and see what the stock's doing. 112.5. I mean, it's sold off and it's come up a little bit as well. 0.5% down, so not very much as things stand. Gautam, what's your sense on the market? Last 2 weeks or so, things have again sort of gone back into a pretty limp kind of state. Nothing. 20-30 odd point range. That big breakthrough all the way to 6,000 doesn't seem like it's coming through. At least the anticipated break. Yeah.
Yes, I think two things. One is even globally, the global macro or the global market sentiment we are seeing similar kind of trends in other markets. So even they are facing some pressure point, again, some nervousness about US elections, possibly some nervousness emerging about the fiscal cliff in the US, and also in terms of earnings season in the US at least being not as good as we have expected earlier. So that's definitely dampening the global investor sentiment.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for Retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.